Now, moving on, GB News can exclusively reveal that changes to reform UK's constitution means that leader Mr Nigel Farage could be booted out if 50% of members triggered a leadership vote. Now, does this leave the upstart party at risk of losing Mr Farage if enemies of the party join up and deliberately attempted to trigger a bloody coup? Well, join me now in the studio to discuss this is GB News' political editor Chris Hope, and I'm also joined by Reform UK MP for Ashfield and their Chief Whip, Lee Anderson. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's start with you, Chris, for a summary of a story you broke on my show at 3 p.m. today. The party moving towards a more democratic, open nature. Nigel Farage agreed that's a good thing. We can all agree on that. But does that leave open manoeuvre for attack? Tell us more.
OK, so here we are. This is the Constitution for Reform UK. Members of this party vote on it on Saturday. Currently, Reform UK is a company. It's got 15 shares in the company, 8 of which are controlled by one Nigel Farage. A company can't really have any chance of forming the official opposition because it's got to be owned or run by members. Nigel Farage gets that. He told GB News, for GB News, on the eve of the general election in July, he would democratise this party. He's done that through Zia Youssef, the chairman. On the screen there, you see this constitution. I highlighted there a section where it looks at how you can get a vote of no confidence in the leader. It says there that half of all members of the parliamentary party can order a vote of no confidence, but only if there are more than 100 MPs. Only 5, of course, one of whom in this year now, Lee Anderson. So it does allow there for 50% of members in good standing writing to the chairman requesting a motion of confidence. And this is the issue that you've picked up on, Martin, because there might be a concern here that any entryist could pay £25, join the party and then vote out Nigel Farage. There's 80,000 members as we sit, but we've been looking through the Constitution in further detail. Paragraph 4.4 does allow for members who are not aligned to the values of this party to be excluded. So that should allow entryists not to be able to force out Farage. But there's a risk there. But then again, I think this party is growing up. It was a company. Now it's a proper party. This is the risk which Nigel Farage correctly is taking on.
Well, let's put that question now then to Lee Anderson. So, Lee, the obvious line of attack, if you throw open your membership to all and sundry, there's any old Tom, Dick or Harry could get through the cat flap and try and cause you trouble. Could that happen here?
Well, I mean, a fair play to Nigel and Zia Youssef have been working incredibly hard to democratise the party. And this was one of the questions I posed to Zia just a few weeks back, and he reassured me that if there was a sudden surge in membership applications, this will be looked at immediately. And bear in mind, at the moment, Martin, we've got probably about 80,000 members. It would take, at this present moment in time, 40,000 members to send a letter to Zia Youssef, like a vote of no confidence, if you like, to get rid of the leader. I think now we're probably the most democratic party in the country. And if the other political parties had this system in place, I tell you what, Keir Starmer would be sacked this week.
Do you reckon that would happen? Do you reckon there'd be enough upset people within the Labour Party? Don't forget, that's what started this ball rolling. Don't forget that £5 to join the Labour Party.
Absolutely, Martin. The other political parties do not have this mechanism in place where they can remove a leader. This is handing over. And what Nigel's actually done is given his shares away. This will happen on Saturday. And he's given the party to the membership. And that's a brilliant thing.
But, of course, it's not quite that case, is it, Leanne? Because the board could then vote to keep him in. I mean, all that happens is the membership can have the order of vote of no confidence, and the board can say
like I said, Chopper, if you have a massive surge in membership like Ed Miliband, when he sold the Labour Party for £3, I knew UKippers that were joining the Labour Party to vote for Jeremy Corbyn. If you see a massive surge in thousands and thousands joining, that's a red flag, and that's what we're there for, to look at stuff like that.
But if enough members did want him out, the board would have to go with the membership, wouldn't they? They couldn't overrule the membership.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if they've got reasonable grounds, but you know what? At the moment, Chopper, as we know, I think you're clutching at straws, a pair of you. Nigel Farage is the most popular political leader in this country at the moment. You're looking for a story that's not there.
He's popular among his own fans, but not amongst Labour or Tory MPs.
Yeah, and hang on, if 40,000 people came along and knocked on your door and gave you £25 a pop, presumably you'd take the cash anyway.
I'd take the cash, yeah. And then, look, like I said, Martin, look for surges in applications. This is what happened with the Labour Party. It's quite simple. There was thousands and thousands of people, I think over 100,000 joined the Labour Party to vote Jeremy Corbyn in. You know, if that happens in reform, we were looking at that very, very closely.
All right, well, let's move on now to another story that's caught your eye today. You've been very vocal on this. Well, you're vocal on almost everything you talk about. But this is Sir Keir Starmer's, the £100,000 worth of freebies. I think we can get that tweet on the screen now. It's like a roll of prizes from a game show. Let's be honest. It's £100,000 worth of freebies. In fact, you get so many freebies now. They're calling him Free Gear Keir. You can see it there. 20 grand accommodation, Lee Anderson. 12 grand in suits. Almost 2.5 grand's worth of free specs. 40 free tickets. By the way, terrible taste in music. Yeah. Coldplay and Taylor Swift. Tickets to the football. Tickets to England. Free frocks for the missus. I mean, is this kind of thing acceptable? When he came in, Lee Anderson, Sir Keir Starmer promised to be a change candidate. Are you seeing any change, or is this more of the same?
Well, I'm looking at that there, Martin, £12,000 for suits. I think he ought to give a couple of them suits away to you and Chopper by looking at it today in the studio. But seriously, guys, he is now probably the UK's #1 sponger. I mean, look at that list there. It's £100,000. No other political leader is accepting gifts like that.
To be fairly, he's declared it. Some of these have been late declarations for his wife, but he's declared it. Have you ever accepted any free suits?
Yeah, no, not suits.
Like wearing a nice T-shirt?
No, we should have a free suit.
That's from Asda. That's from Asda, that is. I would never accept any free clothes or anything like that. No, it's.
Have you been offered them though?
No. No,
what about football tickets?
I've had one football ticket, I think it was, at Forest where I took a constituent with me who'd been a carer, and another was a rugby ticket where I took some constituents who...
So why do people do it? Why give 100 grand's worth of goodies, like in a game show, to him? What's in it for the giver?
It's a good question. I mean, people are currying favour, aren't they? I mean, this man, I think he earns about £170,000 a year. I think his missus earns 50 grand a year. Got a good income coming in, Chopper, over 200 grand a year. He's supposed to be a socialist. He's very good at redistributing people's income, just not his own. It's absolutely disgraceful, actually. If this had been Boris Johnson or Rishi Sunak or any of the other prime ministers, they'd have been going crazy over this.
Well, I want to bring it back to that because Boris Johnson, Carrie, of course, over the wallpaper, over the refurbishment of the flat. You were still in the Conservative Party at that point. And Keir Starmer, the entire Labour Party, they were absolutely all over this story, saying it was proof of the snouts in the trough, typical Tories. And isn't that the point? Everybody gets freebies in politics to a certain degree, but when you set yourself out as a candidate of change, as a Prime Minister of change, then people say, actually, it's more of the same. He kind of set himself up for this fall.
He has. I mean, I don't know who's advising him, but they're not very good at this politics malarkey, Martin. And the Boris Johnson thing with the wallpaper and Carrie, that was actually wallpaper being put into Downing Street. That's a public building. That belongs to the taxpayer. He's off on freebies, going to watch Arsenal. He's going to Taylor Swift concert. You know what? I could have a little bit of sympathy for him if he actually shared a little bit of this wealth, what he's getting from donors, with his constituents. If he's got Taylor Swift concert tickets, take a constituent with you.
Yeah.
And it does throw up question marks about why it's happening. And giving money for clothes for Lady Starmer. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why he isn't just pay for it himself. I mean, it just seems odd, doesn't it? I mean, we asked Wes Streeting earlier who paid for your suit, Wes. I mean, it trickles down into other members of the cabinet.
Yeah, and interestingly, Chopper, when you ask any of these senior Labour politicians about these donations, they can't answer you.
I want to get you on another topic. I know you've been very vocal on this week, and that is, of course, the sentencing of Hugh Edwards. You were very outspoken about the fact you didn't think he was getting enough of a sentence. There's an astonishing report out today, Lee Anderson. Only 20% of convicted paedophiles in Britain caught accessing child abuse images get a custodial sentence. Are we simply being too soft on paedophiles?
Well, of course we are. That figure should be 100%, Martin. We have a problem in this country, it would appear, with protecting our young people. We see it all over. We've seen it with the grooming gangs in the north of England. We've seen the latest BBC pervert come out, and they've had quite a few perverts come out in the past few years. And this man, this Hugh Edwards, I mean, I've written my TV licence up, as you know, a while back. I had a reminder last week. That's gone in the bin. I'm not paying for Hugh Edwards' pension scheme because he's going to get hundreds of thousands of pounds. This man's a pervert, is disgusting, and he needs caging.
All right, well, he has been sort of convicted. Let's be a little bit careful on the language. I know that's your opinion.
It is my opinion. He should be locked up.
OK, but another astonishing part of this report today is that the NSPCC has put some fresh data out saying that despite the fact only 20% get custodial centres, there's been a 25% increase, Lee Anderson, in child abuse images being collected, and 33,000 cases now. Do you think that there's a mindset now that this kind of thing isn't something that we should put in jail? It's like something we could medicalise, something we can cure. It's like a liberal disease, and we're not taking paedophilia anywhere near seriously enough.
There's no medical cure for this, Martin. Well, there is a cure for it. I'm not going to say it on this TV show. These people need locking up and the key thrown away.
Why did the magistrate not give it to Crown Court to give a proper sentence?
Well, it's a good question, Chopper. I do not know. I know Richard Tice has actually written to the Justice Secretary to ask this question, to review the sentencing.
It was the chief magistrate. It was the best in the country doing this. It wasn't. Well, the chief magistrate is someone who is the top magistrate. It was ruled not, and other cases, the other cases involved in this case have got suspended sentences too. So I think it's where we are. It's the law. I mean, you can compare it with other instances of justice over
basically
Facebook
what they've done,
Twitter.
Chopper, on this one. They've said to him, here's a 6 months sentence, suspended for 2 years. All he's got to do is not use the internet for 2 years for downloading, for look at this filth.
And meanwhile, people are going to jail for Facebook posts and throwing mountain bikes at hotels.
Yeah.
Lee Anderson, thank you very much. Always a pleasure. Same with you, Chris Hope. Great exclusive today, even though Lee Anderson didn't think as much of a story. I did. Now, moving on.